Welcome back, guys, or if you're new here, this is Automotive Anonymous, and I'm currently driving a 2024 Mazda CX-30. It's a turbo carbon edition. It's actually a really sweet ride for about $35,000. But today's video is not an objective review. I want to see how it does in snow, slush, and ice. So we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to go through neighborhoods that are unplowed, even though it's 37 degrees out and a lot of this is starting to melt. I want to see how Mazda's iActive all-wheel drive system, paired with the 6-speed automatic and this turbocharged engine, which is very sporty, does getting us through the snow. I want to see if we can get stuck. I want to show you guys how it does with accelerations, braking, launches, and if you park it on the side of the road, you come back out to it. How easy is it to pull away from an unplowed curb? So we're going to do a lot of fun testing today. I'm going to show you exactly what I experience. And if you like what you're about to see, like this video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and otherwise, let's get right into it. And big thanks to Goody Mazda for letting me borrow this one for the day. I'll link it below if you're interested. Otherwise, let's have some fun, and we're gonna get right into it. I'm gonna hop out of this real quick to show you what the snow looks like. It's deceptive on camera. It's always worse in person than what the two-dimensional screen lets you see. But these have about 8 inches of ground clearance, so unless I try to get us high-centered, we probably aren't. But you don't need to be high-centered to get stuck. These wheels and tires, they have pretty decent sidewall, but this is a more sporty platform. Look at all the cladding though. But these have about 30 seconds of tread depth, as you can see here. And overall, Mazdas feel really sporty. You can just see how nicely done the interior is with the leather and the suede. It really is a pretty cool vehicle for about $35,000, but the windows are very small. They're only 1.5 lengths of my hand. But these are really cool. These usually do pretty well in snow. The iActive all-wheel drive system is not as reactionary as other vehicles, even some of the other Japanese automakers. It's not quite as mechanical as Subaru's, that's all the time all-wheel drive, but it really does not feel reactionary. Mazda's iActive system senses things about 200 times a second, between whether the wipers are on, to the temperature outside, to all the different inputs that it can tell the system what it thinks is going to happen to anticipate your next move. So I just got out of a 2024 Mazda CX-30 Turbo. I'll likely also test the non-turbo versions of these vehicles too and see if there's much of a difference. But you can see, or maybe not on camera, but the rear wheels were just kicking up a lot of snow. This doesn't have a snow mode though. It only has off or sport mode, unfortunately. There's no snow, mud, sand, anything like that, because it's more sporty in nature. It's not designed to be an off-roader. Even with 8 inches of ground clearance all-wheel drive, you would think it might be out of its element here, but it's really not. Even on these all-season tires, I'm having a lot of fun, and it does actually feel pretty rear-wheel drive biased, which adds to the sporty sense and what makes Mazda so fun to drive. Again, on camera, it doesn't look like much, but I do hear a lot of drag from the snow on the underbody. But all-wheel drive is really nice. You can go straight from snowy streets to dry streets, and you don't have to turn a 4-wheel drive transfer case back to 2 and 4 high and mess around. The all-wheel drive system just knows what to do, and it makes life easier. Yeah, this really, it kicks in when it needs to, the stability control and traction control. There's not a traction control switch anymore on a lot of Mazdas on the left side to turn that off like they used to have. But it does let you have some fun. It lets the wheels freely spin to quite the extent. And when you do get sideways, as I've been about half the time driving this, like right now, you don't feel all the rear wheel braking, all the nannies and aids to try to slow you down. It lets you have some fun with the system first before it does limit you, which I really appreciate. The turning feels very sharp, although it is all the electronic power steering. It's not manual. You can't feel much through the road, and vibrations and things like that. Oh wow, we did get some plowing in this part of this area, it looks like, but most of this hasn't been. Yeah, so between dry or wet, it does really well, and this turbo engine is extremely fun. But let me get up to speed. Let me show you some accelerations and some braking through the slush and trying to find if we can make our own tracks through some of this. But otherwise, I've had no concerns so far. This vehicle feels very sorted out, and Mazda's software and engineering team did a really good job in designing this. All right, so up here, there's snow on the ground, but not a lot of excessive slush and ruts. So I'm going about 25, the speed limit. Let's go full brake pedal. Ooh, ABS did its thing, but it took a while. It probably took over twice as long as you'd expect to slow down on normal dry roads. These tires don't have the same tread depth that some really good ones do. Sometimes manufacturers give you a shaved down version of the tire just to save some money up front. So I don't know how these will do long term and last, but so far, you know, if you're driving through conditions like this, I would not personally feel the need to upgrade your tires. I would just wear them out until they start to not have the same traction. But these so far are doing really well. We're gonna power around this corner. Oh yeah, getting sideways. The rear, I can't catch it on camera in the moment very well, but it really kicks up a lot of snow from the rear wheels. Those basically start spinning as soon as I would want them to, at least from what I can detect. Another braking. Kind of a hard jolt at the very end. Let's get up to speed, but I'm gonna give us a little bit of power around this corner. Basically just going sideways. Oh yeah. It's so controllable though. These Mazdas, especially with the turbos, do a really good job. But if you're watching this and you're considering buying a CX-30, CX-5, 50, any of those that don't have a turbo engine, those are also higher compression 4-cylinders. They are very sporty in nature. They do a pretty good job. So whatever engine you go with your Mazda, with its 6-speed transmission, and where basically every Mazda other than the Miata now has all-wheel drive, at least in the US, this feels really good. And I don't have any concerns. I don't feel like I need better tires or a different vehicle in this type of driving. We did have way more snow in this area just a few days ago. Let me pull over on the shoulder over here. And let's see how we do getting out of this. Oh yeah, even light acceleration, keeping it around 2,000, and no problem for the CX-30. So I would have loved if we had twice the snow to show you guys a little bit more. There was actually enough snow that when I came into town not too long ago, I was able to get my own 9.5-inch ground clearance Outback Wilderness on good Snowflake Mountain Peak tires stuck. And that was on a shoulder of the road, unplowed roads. So, you know, it sometimes doesn't take a whole lot to get your vehicle stuck. In fact, I was driving some Silverados the other day, not bottomed out, not high centered, and I was able to get those stuck in 2-wheel drive. So your tires make the biggest difference. Having an all-wheel drive system, I'd say, is the second biggest thing for getting you going. Of course, it doesn't help you stopping, so you can't get around the laws of physics. But when you have those two paired together, good tires and good all-wheel drive like this Mazda, you're gonna have a lot of fun. And it makes driving through the winter a whole lot better experience than it otherwise could be, especially when you have a 2-wheel drive system. If you guys watched any of my other videos, there were a number of times that I saw people stuck on the side of the road in 2-wheel drive vehicles, mostly front-wheel drive. But yeah, I have no concerns with this. Because it doesn't weigh a lot, it only weighs a little bit over 3,000 pounds, I can feel that I am being led by the grooves a little bit. I can make my own path, but there is a lot of bouncing around and kind of oscillating around on top of the snow. But heck, even driving a 6,000-pound truck the other day, it also bounces around, moves around, potentially even more than this. One more braking. Not too bad. Check out this old Mitsubishi Eclipse with a big old light bar. That's pretty fun. Being able to get out of your own way is really valuable because it helps you avoid accidents and get in the way of other drivers who might not have good tires, might not be able to slow down in time. So, launching across an intersection, we're getting sideways. You can hear it bottoming out or the snow rubbing against the undercarriage, but really, it's not too bad. And it's a lot of fun. You just gotta be careful that you keep your wheels away from the curb. Okay, so power's being pulled. The traction system was engaging there, and I'm actually fighting the wheel, so that was a good spot to see where this can start to struggle a little bit more. that snow was kind of like the lower points just a few days ago. But you get back onto a more busy road where there's not as much snow, not as many deep grooves anymore. And this Mazda is doing really well. So I hope this video is helpful to you guys. If it was, please consider liking this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Comment below your thoughts and opinions on Mazda's all drive system, on whatever you currently drive. If you're considering one of these, go test drive one. I always recommend you test different vehicles, different makes and models, to make sure that you're buying the best vehicle for you. But if you guys are still watching and you had half as much fun as I had making this for you, then mission accomplished, because this is really fun. Good job, Mazda, on your iActive system. Anyways, I wish you guys the best. Take care.